The topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Are you ready to take a journey? Let's connect with the healers of the world. It's that time. It's time for the Language of Healing on W4WN Radio and Talk 4 TV. Now here's your host, Dr. Nicole Fortin.
Hello, world. Welcome to the Language of Healing on W4WN Network, Women for Women, and all the beautiful people of the world. It's that time. Time to talk about time. And so today we're going to step into the world of time, space, self, and explore some of the aspects around that, the principles of time, how we do time, what is time, and what more can we do with it, creating beautiful spaces for ourselves and truly living on a path of purpose, passion, pleasure. So dive in. Today we have a beautiful and lovely guest, my fellow yogini, Lynne Ann Hilderman. Let's bring her on and say hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hey, time. What an interesting concept. And something that comes up a lot, you know, whether we have no time, too much time, this is a time of season, time of year that people are reflecting a lot, right? We go into, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, we're, into the fall season, coming into the darkest time of the year. So it's like reflecting on what we've done over this past year, the intentions we set. Possibly. I don't know about you, but I feel that September, October is really a new, fresh start. So there's lots of reflecting.
Well, it's also celebrating the summer and the fruits that we have, right? Food, at least up here in the Northern Hemisphere, right? We've come through a season of growing.
And it was just the harvest moon, and then in Canada, we've had our Thanksgiving, which is, it's history, but it's, I think a time that we can celebrate what we have, the seeds that we have sown with the community and people. And it's like having, because, as we come into the cold and dark, we need that internal fire or that internal something that moves us and keeps us warm and invigorated, vitality of life.
Yes, indeed.
So, Lynn, what time, I don't even know what question to ask. What have you been doing with your time?
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. Well, time is an interesting concept. Lately, I've been noticing my schedule far more than I've been noticing my time, because it seems like when I look at time, I get more constricted. But if I look at my schedule, then I can become functional. And so lately what I have been doing with my time, well, right now, what I've been doing with my time is cleaning my home, actually. I haven't been inspired to do any of that really all summer, just been enjoying summer and spending time with family and friends and a little bit of movement outside, being outside a lot. I just had a real summertime for me is I want to be outside. And so right now I feel like there's been a turn. It's like, no, I can go inside and clean a shelf or clean a cupboard or, revisit the cupboard that I open all the time and see all the crumbs. And I would just like to get the vacuum in and clean it up. So that's what I've been doing with my time.
Yeah, that is so nice that feels so good when you can, organize some things and beautify your space. And this is a good time to do that. It's kind of like spring cleaning, but in a different, way. Like, what are we willing to let go and clean up out of our lives and clear the muck a little bit? Is that
Mm-hmm.
I notice as well, schedule, of course, but there's this, I feel more spacious in time when my external space is, something that I enjoy looking at or enjoy being in. I'm more productive with my time, more I feel more inspired and creative. So it does directly affects my inner world, you know. I'm not spending time in, oh, I should be doing that, or look at this mess. Like, I got no time. I gotta
Exactly.
go. The schedule calls, and then I notice, in turn that like affects myself. You know, even relationship with myself, with others. I think understanding how we do time is
Mm-hmm.
a great, communication resource. And like, think of the conflicts that we might have because of time. You know.
Totally. Totally. I've been noticing that I've been far more in time. Like I show up right in time. There's been a
Yeah,
lot of
on the
things that have
wire.
just, yeah, like, it's within the day. My time has been within my day. The sun is coming up. Of course, now there's less daylight as
Mm,
the nights are getting longer, darker, longer. Um, but I have been noticing that I am fairly in time. And there's also this sense of being able to look through time and see, kind of hmm, set the track on something forward.
mm,
And but I've been really enjoying my in time sense, and it
mm.
doesn't often go with maybe my schedule, right? And
Right.
so
Right. I know
so
that.
that's where the conflict for me comes in, because it's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, I asked for this schedule, I set my intentions on this specific thing, to move towards, and then all of a sudden I feel like I just want to be in time, but there's a beautiful schedule that I have set before me. And so there's just been this real honoring of that choice that I have made, and that I can take that in time sense into my work, my play, my schedule, whatever that is that I am. And a lot of times it's facilitating, being with clients and enjoying my work and what I do. So yeah.
Hmm. Let's touch on that principle, the being in time versus through time, because this is something that you and I have learned from our great and beloved master mentor, Kate Michaels. And
Yes.
she had this whole module around time because, and I'm thinking of like the time machine. Like, we can be
Mhm.
so creative and intentful with our time when we stop, pause. And she was always about, like, get the 5 steps to miracles, like getting clear on what it is you want, knowing how to ask for it, showing up,
Mhm.
keeping your word, having a natural attitude of gratitude along the way. So yeah,
Yes.
when we think about in time, through time, what does that mean to you?
Well, it's interesting because there's often other people in my life that are completely the opposite, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, if
And
you can describe in time versus through time, how would you
okay, yeah,
describe
well,
that?
to me, in time is like I'm experiencing my past, my present, and my future all around me. Like, to me, it's a very, kind of here right now. But like when I think of the past, it's around me. When I think of my future, it's around me. When I think of my present, I'm here right now. So that for me is more my through my in time sense. My through time sense is like, okay, well, you know, I can recognize my past and it's behind me. And I can see my future out in front of me. But then it's, you know what I mean? It's like a tunnel, or there's more of a straight line, and I'm here, but there's more of a, I'm moving towards something, or I'm turning around and acknowledging the past and saying, thank you, but acknowledging that straight line. So both of them have a huge contribution in the way my awareness can be. And but I think there is that sense that some people might have more of a tendency for one or the other. And often important people in our lives may reflect the opposite at the same time. And so then it's like, oh, well, isn't this a beautiful dance?
Yeah. And then there's the conflict. But so like even just having the awareness that people are doing time differently, the question of, when there's an event, are you typically someone that shows up early, on time, or late? And that question opens up a lot of course, we have both times, right? Like we can both be through time, kind of tunnel vision, point A to B, focused. We're not really, looking around. Oh, there's, stop and smell the roses kind of thing. Like being in time, being more in the moment, those people can tend to be late, right? Through time,
Exactly.
It's like, got to be here. Then, okay, I'll be early or on time. And so those are strong personality characteristics.
But yeah, they are. And what's coming up for me when you share that, and just in our conversation, is there's this sense that I'm also in a time period, if you want to call that. Like I'm in a whole different time period right now than I was, say, in my past 20 years ago or in my past 10 years ago. I'm in a different time. And that time may have different qualities to it. And so, or even reflecting on the past and thinking of my childhood. Well, that was a different time frame. And I think that there's different qualities of time around that. And so I think that's where I might have more of a tendency to be more in time based on where I'm at in my life. I might have more of a tendency to be more through time if I'm at a place where, I'm more through time.
Yeah.
So I think there's different, this is the thing. Time is such a big, it's a very deep conversation. We can go into what is time and what isn't time.
Yes. And I like time in relation to healing is also, thing to consider because, I'm sure you see this in practice as well. It would be great if it was just like instant healing or, like, oh, I got this pain or I'm struggling through this. I just want it to, boom, be resolved. But sometimes some things take, longer periods. So but anyway.
Exactly.
There's
It does. It's like tendinitis as an example.
Yeah.
People come in with overuse injuries, right?
Yeah.
But tendinitis takes time. And sometimes I need to be reminded of that. I can look at injuries I've had in my life where the time period that I had to go through in order to heal that injury had a lot of days to it and nights.
Yeah. And a lot of mind and feeling and body. And something I was just reminded of you saying that too was I kind of lost it, but there was with tendinitis specifically, for example, you don't just get that instantly. That takes time to arrive. That's a like everyday little tiny things that's repetitive strain injury, more or less, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you
Mm-hmm.
can even take that idea of, repetitive strain injury resulting in tendonitis, and now you have pain, and now it's a journey to recover from that. But that is a like rewind back to the beginning of how was your posture when you were doing that. So even in life, maybe you have this repetitive strain or this repeating pattern that you see, beyond even the
Mm-hmm.
physical body. And,
Yes.
it's like time and time again, this shows up. Okay, so back to the beginning, you know,
Exactly.
like what's your posture? And I think that's the importance of having intentions too, and being really clear on what it is that you want, or how you see,
Yes.
like where do you see yourself in time, like in, the future and vision. And yeah, it is such a deep concept that is so connected to, humanity. But
Yeah.
yeah, dive in. Well, if you have any other thoughts and things, but I'm curious to know more about time and no time. This is something I've heard you speak about.
Yeah. Time and untime.
Oh,
Or what
untime.
is
I'm
time and
sorry. Yeah, time.
what is time and what isn't time?
Ah,
Because part of it is, clearing the thoughts around those concepts, right? Because I might have an idea of what time is. You might have an
mm,
idea of what it is. And then we also have the opposite, what isn't time, which even just saying that, can you
yeah.
feel like it's like, okay,
Like,
what is
oh,
that?
what is
And
untime?
it well, I mean, a thought had come up. What arose was around this time machine that you were speaking of earlier, and this sense of different ways to move with time or through, like this is the other thing, we can be in time and through time, but we can also be with time.
Mm, mm, yep.
So I think it's our language. It's like the language of healing. Here we are,
Mm.
right? Our language is so um, poignant, really.
Oh yeah, it's well, even the whole like a language, if we're talking about that and how it's, the idea around like spelling, or when we do use our words, our vibrations, that's a frequency. That is a signal. Or when we're spelling, it's like casting a spell. It's setting an intention, it's creating something. It's us working like with time,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
And of course there's so many people out there that are speaking about these, the like, manifestations, and really being able to create a life that you desire or want. And yeah,
Hmm.
so the language of time even
Oh,
is is like, that's why I wanted to discuss this with, with you today, because it isn't a subject that I have covered on the language of healing yet, but it's so relatable. Like it's relatable to everything. And I'm aware of the time of season in Chinese medicine. Oh, even Chinese medicine is just a
yeah.
beautiful um like, I don't know, gift of how to read time, because it will break up like throughout our 24-hour cycle. We
Mm-hmm.
have every 2 hours we're shifting into a different energy of a different organ. We have 12 main organs in that system. So every 2 hours, but then you look at like Swara Yoga, which is the study of breath. And every 2 hours, our body is shifting from, you know, we typically don't breathe out of both nostrils at the same time. It's either the left side
Isn't
or the
that
right side.
interesting?
So about every 2 hours there, yeah, and that's why like pranayama or breathing practices are so important, because well, breath is the only thing that connects our physical world with our conscious and unconscious worlds. So if we can, because it's an unconscious activity, so we don't really need to like be aware of it. But when we do become aware of it, that's when we can really like work on harmonization, union, which is yoga. Yoga means union.
Yes.
So
Yes.
anyway, there's obviously connections with yoga and Chinese medicine, but we're in the fall season here, which is the large intestine. That time of day in that 24-hour clock is, that 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. And it
Mm,
is it
interesting.
is the beginning of the day, 3 a.m. And that's why in monasteries, monks, you'll see they're up early, like sometimes between 3 and 5 a.m. And people like this is where we should be cleaning out the past day for a fresh slate.
Yeah.
And
Right.
yeah, if we might struggle, or we might wake up at that 3 a.m. time, with a difficult transition. And
Yes.
then think about every day we accumulate an uncleansed, or not fresh slate. And so we're bringing
Right.
all that stuff with us. But anyway, the time of the year right now is really all about letting go. And it's like
Mm,
letting go, letting the leaves fall. And but that can translate into, grief too. It's like there's a grief or sadness that connects to the lungs and the large intestines. And so, and that takes time.
yes. Yes. It is a beautiful time of year because it is in such glow, at least that, right? Like
Mm,
everything is so glowing with the leaves turning color. And even
mm,
though it's counterintuitive to what's actually happening, just with what you're saying, right? There's this glow as we let go,
the glow of letting
and,
go.
you
Well, and
know,
like how it's like fireworks at the end of the cycle. It's like,
yeah,
wow, look how like look at the impact this had. Or
yeah,
maybe like a celebration almost, even though it doesn't always feel like that. Because I think letting go and dealing with some of that, it's like even cleaning through your home. Like there are things that you just are hard to let go of. Maybe,
yeah.
but maybe they have purpose. And it takes some like clarity to even sift through that. So I don't, it's not an easy process.
Well, and I think
Yeah.
sometimes the letting go, especially of things or, stuff, and I don't know, this is a thing for me because I'm a kind of person that likes to purge a lot.
Mm.
I unfortunately, raising my family could sometimes clean up too much. It's like I wasn't finished with that.
Yeah.
But there has been, this is when you're speaking about lungs and grief and letting go, and because there has been times when I have let go and I've given stuff away or I've been complete with it. And this is another thing about time, being through time, because here I am, I'm still here. It's 10
Mm.
years later. And it's like, where was that thing I thought I wanted to, get rid of? Oh, it could have contributed to me right now, right?
Yeah.
So there is this sense of, and then this maybe goes into this time period of, being in the latter half of this lifetime. I'm appreciating, um, you know, the things of the past in the form of, like, I think of my children, like one of them is an artist and loves her vintage clothing, and so she has this appreciation of those things of the past, and so she doesn't want to get rid of things like that, where and there's such a contribution where she can dress up in it and look like amazing, right?
Mm.
Or embody a different time period,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And so this whole time machine concept, like, I feel like in some ways, well, I can go back to a time if I want to, right? Even if it's just in my own awareness, I can go forward to a time in the future, perhaps, maybe it won't be as clear, but
Hmm.
I have that ability to do that, right?
Yeah, we can travel through any time we we choose, you
Yeah.
know,
So this is
in
where I
a
think
moment.
time is such a, I I've heard it's a construct. Like, do you know what I mean? It is
Mm.
something that is
It has I mean, when we think about like time versus space, which is the yin and yang of each other, it's like,
yeah,
like you said earlier when we started, contracted or condensed or some constraint, the constraints of time versus schedule. Anyways,
right.
it has a boundary, it has a
Right.
definitive thing, but then there's, space, then it's just Einstein time, even he had, spoken about how we can, I mean, time is almost, it's an illusion as well,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm.
There's the reality of it and the illusion of it. Yeah. So
Well,
what do
and
you
it's
think?
interesting. Yeah, sorry, go
Okay,
ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, it's just like it took time for us to get here right now, right?
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
took, it took scheduling, right? It
Uh-huh.
took a desire. It took a lot of things to contribute to just showing up right here, right now. It's
Right.
amazing. To me,
Yeah,
it's
and
the
that is,
miracle of
that
life.
goes, yeah, it's like the 5 steps to miracles. It's like, know what you want. Like,
Yeah.
okay, we want to do this show, ask for it. Hey, Lynne Ann, do you want to help me out? Come chat about it. Show up, keep your word. And oh, I'm just so also grateful for
Yeah.
sharing time with you right now.
Yeah. It's like going down a rabbit hole in some ways, right? I think
Yeah.
of the movie with Johnny Depp,
Which one is that?
Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, yes, yes. Oh, yeah, of course. Of course, Alice in Wonderland. Yeah.
But she traveled
Oh,
through time, right?
yeah. And just like the playfulness of that and the imagination. Because
Exactly.
yeah, and yes, I'm just think like, well, not thinking, sensing like what, as our listeners are tuning in today and they're reflecting on their own time, what is an important thing to take away from today? And
Mm,
I think the awareness is obviously valuable of that we can
totally.
do through time, different
I
ways.
think contemplating, what am I doing with my time? What's important to me? This goes into what's important to me? What's it important for? What is it? It's that steps to success that Kate would speak of, right? Knowing what you want it for, what you're wanting it more for, and
Mm,
then showing up, asking for it, keeping your word, and having that natural attitude of gratitude along the way. Those principles are, to me, just foundational. And
mm. Another principle she would speak about was the timeline process. And
yeah,
I think this one
yes.
comes from someone else. I can't remember.
Tad James, I believe
Ted
it was.
James. Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
so. Yeah. Um, and what I find interesting about that is that when you sit with your timeline, like present, past, future, there's themes that will light up along the
Yeah.
way. And if you're struggling through something right now or have a conflict, or even just are in the space of what more for? Oh,
Right.
I desire this. Where in my timeline can I, like see and like figure out? So like themes are
Yes.
interesting, to work with as well.
Exactly. And we can go
And
back. I can go back and revisit an event and glean more insight from what happened, right? It's like I can learn something new from a similar thing along that timeline,
yeah, which would shift the story because
which does, yeah,
we can spend a lot of our time believing something. This brings in our, feelings, thoughts, and beliefs around
yeah,
time
yeah,
or an event. or a certain theme that carries on through our life. So we really can influence that. I think the breath actually is such a great way to do that because it bridges the gap between like left and right hemispheres, our conscious, unconscious realms, our masculine, feminine energies. And that's the caduceus, like that, the medical symbol.
Right.
It's like that serpent energy that weaves and comes up.
Yes.
And it's like, our spine is the antenna. I think that working with our physical body is a great gateway into accessing time.
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
just like, yeah.
Well, and
Oh,
what it brings up to in indigenous teachings, many indigenous teachings, they do the medicine wheel.
right.
And that's yet another way that we go through these, at least the ones that I have learned about. It's like a 13 moon cycle, and that
Hmm.
we're constantly going through these 13 different moons. And as we move through, obviously, this body has been on a few rounds of 13 now. When I go
Hey,
back to the center,
celebrations.
I get to go back and go, oh, like to me, it's about bringing more appreciation to, oh my goodness, the miracle that where I've been, what has occurred, the blessings of people in my life, like just, and even looking back at my past, what I might have struggled with in a previous cycle doesn't have the same charge to it. It doesn't have the same, it gripped me at that time. It's like, oh, I got to get through this. It's like, oh, what is this? It's like, so there's just this aspect of life that is like that. And I think that's where contemplating what time is and what life is are two very big things that people that are listening or anybody wanting to explore are good things to ponder, because if I'm at a stage in my life where I'm in my, say I'm in my first 20 years or 30 years, what I mean? I'm going to have a different consideration than I am if I'm in my 60th year,
Mhm.
or 80th year, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's like kind of the key, to a successful life, I guess, is working with time like that. Like, Taoism, or what's based Chinese medicine a lot of is based on the law of like living in accordance with the nature of life.
Mm,
And if we're in an opposite season or it's like we're resisting what's naturally occurring or what time of life we're in. There are times for expansion and times for contraction, and but that's where we can get illness or disease in our lives
mm.
when something is, you know, in resistance to, or we haven't fully completed a cycle. Like it's like a anchor that keeps us going.
Right.
You know, like it just, so like working with time can actually like create so much freedom, and but yeah, you're right. It's like, the first bit of our lives versus, like there's different chapters, different seasons,
Totally different.
in nature and within
My
ourselves.
mom looks at her life like that. She's 80.
Ah, yeah.
She always says, I look at my life like a different chapter. She's had many chapters, and she's just got such an amazing perspective on life, where she's at in the season that she's in. And
Mhm.
this is where, seasons I think are really important, because I'm in a different season of life than I was 20 years ago or 30 years ago, right? So,
Right. And just allowing others to be in their seasons or their times, and the awareness of that or the acceptance around it can, ease challenging relationships as well.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. And yeah.
Well, what else is possible?
What else is possible? Yes. What else comes to mind with, time and space?
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. I guess we need to talk about space as well. I mean, because there is this element of space that contributes to us as well.
Yeah, we are
And it
mostly
may
space, you know?
right, exactly.
We are mostly, we're physical body, but we're actually more space than matter, right?
Yeah,
And just
exactly.
that's a key principle as well to
And how do they
understanding.
relate? How do they relate to each other? My time and my space. What am I doing with my
Yeah.
time? Am I creating the space? Or if I create the space, what's happening with time in it?
Mm. Yeah, I like that. That's
You
like
know?
bang on. I feel that so often that I have to stop and remind myself if I'm in a state of being that feels a little bit overwhelmed or rushed or cluttered,
Mm-hmm.
and then those times where I feel very free and like what could I create? And
Exactly.
I find more of those moments when I'm a little
Mm-hmm.
bit more conscious of my space, right?
Totally.
Yeah, yeah, no.
Yeah. And
Well, it's
there's
beyond us. It's beyond our,
it really
little
is beyond
ego.
us, and I'm, just really honoring the contribution of others, right? Like with this conversation, it probably wouldn't arisen as a result of the exploration with others, right? And the
Yeah,
self-inquiry around and the yearning for something more true to ourselves, right? Like if it wasn't for my yearning for more truth in myself or more clarity, it wouldn't have brought me to this very moment. Like, I think of Kate, and how she came into my life. And, so I guess I'm just really wanting to acknowledge and create a moment of acknowledgement for her and her teachings,
mm,
because she was a real blessed soul.
mm, absolutely. I
Hmm.
also acknowledge, yeah, the time that she was, with us and the gifts, like the legacy of her work and the
Hmm.
timelessness. Like what
Yes, exactly.
it's still valuable and true and yeah, it's
And
you
it
know uh,
plays into this whole language of healing. So, what is the language of healing? I think
yeah,
the language of healing has to do with something that we can't see, we can't feel, we, can't really know, but it's there all the time.
right. Yeah,
Right?
some things don't make sense, and we try to make sense of it, but that's, in a way, out of curiosity. I'm a very curious person, and I want to know why.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What? Um, there's like the level of acceptance around that. To me, I'm very purpose driven. Like I want to make the best use of my time. I want
Mm,
I want to seize every opportunity. I want to live a full, fulfilling life with great connections and, you know, love and like just what's that word, like, not benevolence, but just
collaboration.
yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I like
Like
that word.
community,
Yeah.
yeah, and collaboration.
Community.
And I would like to be at the end of my physical time here and be
Yeah.
able to reflect on the journey and say, yeah, that was like my contributions to my community and myself and my beingness. I think that like even if we're tapping into a higher self or higher purpose, I'm kind of in that world. I know, like I do believe, work with like the energetics of life, a
Yeah.
lot, and that's such a mystery. And
Yeah.
people will either deny it because you can't really explain it, You know, it's a mystery, it's curiosity.
Yeah.
And but people like Kate Michaels, their contribution to the world, she could put words to ideas, feelings, thoughts,
Yes.
and like speak truth. Like you resonated with it because it's like, oh, you feel like,
Yeah.
yes, that's so I'm not alone
Yeah,
in
I know
that, you
she
know?
just took, like, I came in with, when I first, my first call, I still have my very first call I had with her.
Ah,
And I listen to it sometimes. And it's like she was able to put language, here we are, to everything I was trying to get across.
yeah.
And, and this, it was just, it was like finally I heard what I was trying to say, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that's yes.
And then I got to listen to myself.
Wow.
Thank goodness she recorded the call. And I still
Yeah.
listen to that. And so this is, to me, the amazing thing about not, like, we don't, that part of us that we don't know and we don't see, we need each other to have
Yeah, like the
that
reflection of
reflected
it.
in. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I know, right? Yeah. Because you know, would we even speak if there weren't others around? You know, like would we even have developed a language? You know, if like a method of communication and yeah, fascinating. So if
It,
everyone out there listening is interested in, you know, diving into more of your feelings, thoughts, beliefs around time, space, or yourself, um, you can contact Lynne Ann or myself because we're both, you know, trained with Kate Michaels and emotional wisdom training and core alignment
yes. And
coaching.
yeah, and spend a season
Ah,
focusing on time. This
yeah.
is the time of year that we're, it's
Yeah,
a good
and you
time of
know,
year to focus on time because there's lots going on. We're
and
going
the
into, right?
holidays, the holidays, the
Holiday
triggers.
season, triggers, exactly. So, it is,
Yeah, and laying things to rest, you know, being okay with laying things to rest you know, maybe not resurfacing when come the spring, you know, in
yeah.
that season. Yeah, so then why don't you share with us your, you know, how we can reach out to you, anything you'd like
Well,
to contact.
our website is maybe playing across the screen here, but it's Breath, Body, Work, Wellness. You can reach out to me there. And then I'm working at another clinic as well, which I'm really excited about. So I do offer my services at Vibe Health and Wellness here in the Calgary area. And if it is core alignment coaching or having a conversation and taking a deep dive, it can be done anywhere, over Zoom or the phone or whatever form of communication that we have. So
Yes,
mhm,
it's a global affair here.
it
But if
is.
you are in
Yeah.
the Calgary area, definitely reach out. Wonderful, wonderful therapist here.
No, thank
Beautiful
you so
energy.
much. As
And
you,
yeah, I am definitely grateful for you in my life and look forward to more time with you,
yeah, that's
sharing
right.
more space with you.
More space, more time. We can make
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
We can
Right.
create time and we can create space.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, any final thoughts that you'd like to share or inspired by?
Just an appreciation for life, really, and the challenging things in life that create more life. You know,
Mhm.
going through, losing loved ones and things like that, which is part of the net life cycle, right?
Mhm.
Just an appreciation of having a conversation, an intentional conversation, and seeing more intentional conversations on everybody's couches.
Yes. Amen to that.
Like it doesn't have to be complicated. I know we have intentional conversations with our family. And part of it is, to me, just creating the space for something intentional.
Do you set
Or
that boundary or like, you know, set that intention that this is a
Mhm.
space to be.
Yeah, just an intention. So whatever, here we are. We've had an intention. We set the intention for our call today, right? And we've gathered, we've just gone wherever we've gone. And then,
Yeah.
at the end, it's like, what can we take away, right? That will support us until we talk again, right?
Yes. I know the value of intentional conversations for myself, and they've really helped keep me, focused. Me personally, I'm a very naturally in time person. I like to be, you know, I'm generally a little late, because I'm always caught up in something. And anyways, just enjoying that space. Sometimes a little bit like the squirrel
Yeah.
to focus. So for me, if anyone can relate to that, it's like sometimes just put my helmet on, like stay in my body, focus on one thing, and intentional conversations can really help me align and stay the course. I'll still get there, but in the, sessions with you really help propel something forward. So if you are feeling a little bit restless or anxious, confused, stuck um,
Mm-hmm.
in anything, fear, like grief, grief and sadness, depression, like anything, because that's a natural part of life. That is totally 100% okay to be there.
Yeah,
And
totally.
it's also part of a cycle. So the problem's not the emotion or what we're feeling. It's when we get stuck in that. And
Mm-hmm.
so an intentional conversation, yeah, like you said, Lynn, it's like put words to something say what you didn't know you were
Yeah, exactly.
trying to
Yes,
say or something.
exactly.
And then listening back and having that, just having someone else's perspective or a soundboard to help guide you through that. And then the reflection of what will you take away from this conversation that will support you until we talk again, and or what will support you from this conversation for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yes. Two
What
very
will,
important questions, right?
yeah, yeah. What I will take with me for the rest of my life is hmm, viewing time, just being open to time being more spacious and playful,
Mm,
and settling more into the present, settling more into my body in time, like with time,
mm, very cool.
and yeah, moving forward with that. Not
Mm,
being hard on myself. I can be a little like judgy of myself, like, oh, I didn't do that with my time, or what, like, wasted my time. These are just my thoughts here, world.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, exposed. That'd be more creative and playful moving forward. So yeah. What about you?
Well, what I take away is, well, just this idea of containment and setting a container, a frame. I don't know if it's a frame or a
Mm,
container or a time or a space or a schedule to have an intentional conversation around the language of healing or time or whatever we have decided. It could be anything, but really the value of holding that, having that space and then completing it, because it's like it completes a cycle. And I will take something away regardless whether I do that. So why not claim it? Why not
yeah,
claim
it's
that
true.
thing that I'm going to take
Yeah.
away? So really what I take away is appreciation just keeps coming up. I just so appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate the fact that we have been along this journey for many years and that
Mhm.
it's still a conversation that's going,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Yeah. Some things continue, are just true. Like they'll stand the test of time.
Of
Like
time.
true. You know,
Yeah.
but then there's just the importance of completing the cycle, you know, that
Yeah.
you'd mentioned, we've spoken of a couple times, because like that's really important, because if we don't, it can drag us down. It steals our life force. You know, it
Exactly.
burns our vitality, our essence. And then, you know, moving into the next season or the next chapter of our life becomes even more burdensome, you know. So there is possibility to clear that out and, you know, like purge and feel really good and rejuvenated by that.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, you know, take the opportunity. Call Lynne Ann Hilderman at Breath Bodywork Wellness.com
Mm. Yeah.
for your intentional conversation. So until we meet again, Lynn, we'll see you next time.
Awesome.
Yes.
Have a great day, love.
Yeah, you too. Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Wow, what a show today. And the journey does not stop here. Come travel the world with Nicole every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time as together we become more fluent in the language of healing on W4WN Radio and Talk4 TV. See you next week.